Welcome to this episode of Morrison Madness.
Welcome.
You gonna give your spiel about where they can see us?
Sure, we'll do
us,
that first, so
us?
then that way we remember it for once. So we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I believe we are Morrison Madness on Facebook and Instagram. I think we're Madness Morrison on Twitter. We are on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube, or we're here on this podcast. We also have a website. The website pretty much
and the podcast is on all
podcast players. Yep, absolutely. And our website pretty much just tells you that we have a podcast and that we're on social media. There's nothing else really on our website, but it's a great place to get to all the other places if you're curious.
So Android, orange, banana, all the fruits.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, we're on all of them.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's not a secret, I feel like, that sometimes we tape these and they're
a few weeks ahead, you
right.
mean? Yeah. No, I don't think that's a secret either. We are not a in the moment, in this week, this happened type of podcast. And so, yes, we are pre-recording these usually just a couple weeks before.
So we generally don't do a lot of current topics, hot topics. Once in a great while,
we'll
might
reference something.
We might try and force one in. If it's a big enough deal to us,
yeah,
we might say something about it.
Right. We do though think ahead, you know.
Right.
So if there's a holiday coming up, we might record a podcast a few weeks in advance about that holiday and release it around that holiday for that purpose.
Right.
That kind of a thing. So like May 4th is coming up, and so I don't know if, or maybe that's when this one's releasing. I don't remember what I just looked at now. So I think this one releases right around that time.
You didn't even take that into account.
I didn't even think about it.
That's horrible.
Until right now.
We might have to reschedule.
Uh-oh. This one might come out at a different time now.
Might. So everybody, if you've been following us at all, you know that we had the virus pretty early on. We debated a long time about getting the shot.
You debated more than I did. I mean, I knew I would get the vaccine at some point. I wasn't in a hurry to get it because I knew that because I had the virus, I still had fairly high antibodies.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Our thought process was let everybody else that hasn't had the virus get the shot, right? Especially people that were at risk, that kind of thing.
So until
and then
it really opened up to everybody.
Right, we could get it later because we already had the disease. We had the antibodies. And then,
but people may not know that you were offered the vaccine earlier because of your autoimmune.
Because I'm high risk, right.
And at that time you were like, I still have the antibodies. I'm not concerned about it yet.
And so before the virus, we were already, I know this is going to be a big shocker to everybody, we were already out of shape.
Yeah.
And then the virus happened.
We go nonstop. We really do. I mean, we have something, we're busy all the time, but we don't exercise. We don't have good cardio in our jobs. I sit at a desk or I sit and I read all day.
And then the virus happened and
then
we literally had the virus for a month.
Yeah.
We were laid up for a couple months after that, and it was crappy weather out.
So for a month, we're sleeping 20 hours a day.
Yeah. And so put on a crap ton of extra weight, got more out of shape, and then my lungs, a little bit more than yours. I know it did affect yours, but it affected my lungs more. So cardio is tough. Apparently, I now have asthma on top of everything else that's wrong with me. And those of you who have met me in person know that that's a lot. So, we're struggling with this, trying to get in shape. In the last two episodes, our friend Laura was on here.
Yeah.
She's been doing everything that she can to help us get into shape, into any kind of shape other than the shape that we're in.
Yes. And so, kudos to Laura for sticking with it because she's got a program that's on your phone. And so she can see when we're actually doing the workouts. And so after a week of not working out, she's like, so I see you're having trouble getting started. I'm like, just a little bit. It's been a week. You gave us 5 minutes worth of stuff to do. I have yet to do it. That's the way our week was
originally
going.
We started off with these like hour workouts, right?
Well, it wasn't an hour. It was more like 20. But
20 minutes?
Yeah, it was.
I thought they were like an hour workout.
No, it was only 20. Like, there was supposed to be a warm-up and then 20 minutes of weightlifting, I think was the whole thing. And it didn't give a time limit on the weightlifting.
You can tell that I looked at it.
That's didn't
how much
look
time
at
I
it.
put into
He's
it.
just basing it off what I said. But so the problem was, though, part of it is we couldn't get to the weights in our house.
Right, but so we brought some up.
Yeah, so we actually did plan one day. We were going to bring the weights up and we were going to work out. We even had the phone connected to our TV in our living room, so it's bigger so we could watch it. And we literally were pressing play.
And did my mom come over?
No, we got a phone call that the grant for
that's right. We're trying to apply
business,
for a grant for our small business.
For our DJ company was opening up in a half an hour, and we needed to do that. And we were like, well, then we're not working out, are we? Because we had to get the computer up and running and make sure we had the website going.
That's going to be a whole nother podcast.
Oh, we're waiting for a little while for that.
There will be a lot of bleeps and beeps in that podcast.
So, yeah.
But I feel like more than a week went by.
Yes, and the weights sat in the middle of the living room.
And then
we never even moved them.
And then Laura's like, maybe we should try these little 5-minute workouts, and you can do them like 3 or 4 times a day and get your workout in.
Well, if you do each, she gave us one that's a warm-up, one that's upper body, one that's lower body, and one that's core. I say abs, but core strength. So there's 4 5-minute, and each one literally is 5 to 6 minutes of workout. And I've done all 4 of them now, once. In like the 2 or 3 weeks that we've had this.
I feel like the one day that I did the one with you.
The arms?
Right.
Yeah.
And we got done with it, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, that wasn't so bad, was it? And there was a couple of the exercises that really hurt my shoulders. I have really bad shoulders. I've had surgery on both of them.
Right. But I think your weight was too much for that type of
Nope, it wouldn't matter.
Exercise.
That's why I can't paint above my head.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't do anything above my head.
Gotcha.
Because a paintbrush.
Sure.
It's just painful.
Well, but then maybe doing it without the weight, it's just a matter of, I realize that's painful, but you're still getting that motion. I don't know. We'd have to ask Laura.
No, I think there are other exercises that I can do.
Instead?
Yeah, that will potentially work most of those same muscles and don't cause me that issue.
You understand that way better than I do.
So, anyway, we did it one day, and then I swear to God, and maybe my time is all screwed up, but then I think the next day we decided we were going to get the shot.
No, I think it was 2 or 3 days later, because the next day you were like, my arms are really sore.
They were.
From working out, and it wasn't that day. I feel like we worked out, I'd have to look at the app, but I feel like we worked out on a Tuesday. It was. We worked out on a Tuesday because that's when I have my meetings for my GA position.
Right, and we did it in between your meetings.
And I was like, I've sat now for this long, and she said, whenever you feel like you need to stand up and take a break, do a 5-minute workout. I'm like, let's just do the arms. So then I didn't have to change clothes. I didn't have to worry about whether all that kind of stuff. So I made you do the 5-minute workout of the arms, and that was on a Tuesday. And then we got our first vaccination on that Thursday.
Right. And so when we went and got the vaccination, right, I got mine. You got yours first, even though I was signed up first. I got mine. You got yours first. And then
they just checked us in when we showed up together. They just checked us.
And when I came out of the thing, we were talking about it, and I'm like, I didn't even feel it. I'm not sure that they gave me a shot. And we were joking around. I'm like, since I was in the military, maybe I've already been microchipped. Because I didn't feel anything go into my arm. I felt like I didn't feel the needle. I didn't feel the injection. Nothing. Right? So we finished doing our shopping, walked around the store, because they want you to wait around for half an hour, make sure there's no adverse effects. We did all of that, checked in with them. They're like, yeah, you're good to go.
Yep.
So we came home. We put the groceries away. We were doing some stuff around the house.
We were sorting magic cards. Because you had an order that came in the day before.
Yep. And then, boom. And this was, what time did we go? Like 8:30 in the morning?
Might have been more like 9:30, I feel like. Well, maybe it was 8:39. I think yours was 8:45 was your check-in or whatever, and mine was 9:15. So yeah, probably 8:30 we went.
And then at noon we ate lunch.
Right.
And then
we were home by 9:30.
Right.
I remember
Shortly after we ate lunch, I started getting a really bad headache.
Yeah.
And then I just went downhill from there.
Yeah, by 2:00, you were worth nothing at that point.
And went to bed.
You went to bed.
And got up around 7.
Yeah.
And then I think we've gone for a walk together since then? You've gone on several, but I'm saying
yes.
together.
Yeah, we've gone on one walk, two
At
walks?
least one, maybe two. And I just have felt like crap.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, it's because you had the virus so bad
right.
that your antibodies are recognize it and they kick into high gear and whatever. And I'm just like, I hope the second shot's not as bad as the first one.
And I'm really worried that my second shot will be worse since I didn't react to the first shot. Because I also react to the flu shot. And I know they say that it's different, but it's still one of those that if a vaccine tends to wear you down, another vaccine I would think would wear you down. That's just the way biology works, as far as I understand it. But
well, all of the stuff that I have read online from different news reports and medical journals and whatever, you talk to 100 different people that have gotten the shot, and every one of them had a different kind of reaction
right.
or no reaction.
Right.
Yep.
So
it's not like I'm overly concerned.
No, right.
It's crazy to me how different it affected us.
Right.
The ways that it affected me, the ways that like you were saying, your arm still hurts to lay on.
Yeah, it's been a week, and I still can't lay on that side because my arm hurts.
My arm only hurt for a couple days, but from the elbow down,
it'll go numb.
It keeps going to sleep.
Right.
Yeah, and then I keep getting these stupid frickin' headaches that just wipe me out in the middle of the afternoon.
Right.
So, all of that being said, we're not trying to say anything about having the vaccine or not having the vaccine. What we're trying to say is this is an excuse that we're using to why we haven't worked out.
It's not an excuse, an explanation. I'm not trying to make an excuse for... Okay, it's an excuse.
Yeah, we're not trying to make an excuse. They just happen.
They just happen. It's an explanation. Like people... I was talking with one of my physicians the other day, a physical therapist that I go to, and she was like, well, what about this? What about that? I'm trying to come up with ideas of how to incorporate this. And one of the big things that they always say is, well, if you have a desk job, set a timer. So then every hour or every hour and a half or whatever, you're getting up and you're moving around. And then if you set that timer, then, every 2 hours, do one of your exercises. So then you get your 4 exercises in the 8 hours that you're sitting at your desk. And I said, well, that would work if I had a regular desk job, but I don't. I read articles.
Right.
And when you're reading that article...
You don't want to be interrupted.
You don't want a timer going off when you're in the middle of a sentence trying to figure out how stuff gets put together. You need to get into that zone and you need to read and understand that article the best you can. And on top of it, I still have COVID brain and I can't remember what I read 15 minutes ago. So I really don't want to be interrupted. And so she was like, oh yeah, no, that's not going to work for you at all, is it? So it was a little things like that in general, our life is not set up to work out. And both of us, I feel like, were very active when we were younger. And so we were naturally active enough that we didn't have to plan workouts in.
No.
You worked on a farm. I was a lifeguard.
Well, even until 2 years ago, I was doing construction. Well, right. I was playing basketball.
Right, but I just mean as far as, a lot of this is lifestyle habits that you develop when you're earlier than 20 years old, right? So whether or not you were on a sports team and you did a regular workout kind of thing. I was in show choir. I was a lifeguard. I loved to swim. My activities, the things that I enjoyed were working out in a way that didn't feel like a workout. I never once growing up thought I need to go to the gym and work out. I even had teachers telling me you should come lift weights with us. And I was like, yeah, no.
Right.
I don't want to. That doesn't sound like fun. I'm too busy the way it is. So,
and I don't hate lifting weights. I mean, I hate running.
Yeah. No, you have to chase me with a machine of some sort.
I don't hate lifting weights. It just, our life is so full right now. It's just,
right.
And part of it is you have to prioritize the time. Your health needs to be a valuable, important thing to you.
Yes.
And it's hard to change your life and your routine to make that happen.
Right.
And I mean, I don't have an issue saying, what my ideal weight is and what I weigh now.
I don't either.
I'm not going to bring up yours. You can if you want to. So my ideal weight is 185 to 190 pounds. And 2 years ago, I was pretty steady. I mean, I had put on a little bit of weight, but I was pretty steady at the 212, between 200 and 215 pounds. And then that next year, because I had quit playing basketball.
Yep. Well, and when your dad got sick, you put on some weight too.
Yeah, but I got some of that off.
Oh, did you?
And that's, our wedding weight, I was between 180, 185.
Right.
And I had creeped up over the years to the 212 kind of range.
Right.
And then that next year, because I quit playing basketball because I was having issues with my knee, I put on 15 to 20 pounds. And I was, for a long time, was right in that 230 to 235.
Right.
Well, COVID, 250.
Yeah.
And that's, I've been heavier.
Right.
When I was in my late 20s, I had to have 2 abdominal surgeries, and I was laid up for about 6 months, and I got up to 265, I think. That's the heaviest I've ever been. And so, this isn't the most out of shape that I've been, but I feel miserable, and I want to get back in shape.
Right.
And not saying that it's going to happen in 6 months or even a year, but I would like to be back down to that 200, and ideally, if I could get there, that 185.
Yeah. Yeah, my ideal weight, well, I should give a little bit of a background to you. I was a very skinny child. You were too. I realized that. But so, to the point where teachers were watching me to make sure I wasn't anorexic or bulimic because I just couldn't put on weight growing up. And so just to give a reference, at 5'9", my senior year, I was 105 pounds at the beginning of the year. And then by the end of my senior year, evidently my metabolism changed, and I was 145 pounds at the end of my senior year.
Well, but some of that is as you matured,
right.
your hips broadened.
Yes. I also went from a hip size of like a 2 or a 3 to a 10 my senior year.
I think I was 160 pounds when I graduated. And then I went into the Marine Corps, and when I came home, I was 180 pounds.
Right. And a lot of that's muscle. You put on muscle.
That's all there was. There was no fat on me.
Right. Yeah. And I've never had the you're all muscle, no fat. I was just super skinny, and then I put on weight because I matured kind of idea. But at the same time, my senior year, I started academic decathlon. And so then I studied a lot, and I didn't do the after school activities, and my lifestyle changed, and so that's a big part of it too. And then in college, I just generally steadily put on a little bit here and a little bit there, to where supposedly for my height, anywhere between 140 and 160 is supposed to be ideal weights. So if you're super in shape like a runner, things that way, I have curves. 140 is very difficult, I would think, to get to, but maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. I don't know. But 160 tends to be where everybody's like, oh, that's where you should be, is around 160. But then I feel like that should be more muscle, and I've never had that much muscle. So
well, and that's, Bay explained that to us.
Right.
By lifting weights and not wearing as much, not that you don't want to do any cardio.
No, right.
But it shouldn't all be cardio. And by lifting weights, you're going to put on muscle.
Right.
And you're going to lose fat.
Right.
And muscle weighs more than fat.
Right.
So, yes, if you're muscular at this size, you're going to be a little heavier than somebody that's not muscular.
Right. And right now, I'm at probably, I don't know that I'm at the heaviest that I've ever been, because I feel like I've probably spiked and lost weight. And I definitely roller coaster from summer to winter. So I am heavier in the winter than I am in the summer. Because, again, I'm more active in the summer because of the weather. I'm more apt to be outside and doing things than I am I don't like cold. But sitting right now, I'm sitting at 215 about. So, that's a big jump from where I want to be. So it's definitely something to work towards.
So our goal.
Yeah.
And this is us kind of planning. This may not work out exactly right, but I feel like we have this episode coming out.
It should be at the beginning of May. I think it's close to May 4th, which may the 4th be with you, if that's the case. So
may the 4th be with all of you.
Yeah.
Except that one guy. Sith on him. That's all I have to say. And so we're hoping that between now and then.
Between now and the 1st of June.
Well, between now and then, we're hoping that we're able to change our schedule around.
Right.
We need our second vaccine, which will happen between now and then.
Yes.
Hopefully we don't have horrible side effects from that.
Right.
And then, by June 1st,
right,
we're hoping that we've got everything rearranged and we've started doing more of the workouts and we figured out which workouts work best for us.
Right.
And when they work out best for us.
Right.
So that we're on this thing. And, our plan is to kind of update people through Facebook, through I don't know, Instagram, that's more
a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it'll depend on how we can do it. Again, our social media. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, you're probably seeing primarily the same posts. If you really want to see the extra stuff, you want to make sure you're joining that Morrison Madness group on Facebook, because that's where we post our random thoughts and things that we find during the day, or videos of Robbie doing silly things around the house.
And then hopefully by Labor Day, we can give an update and say...
Memorial Day or Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Oh, in the fall.
Right,
okay.
We're hoping to have this fully implemented by Memorial Day.
Yeah, and we're going to be in shape by Labor Day.
No, but I think that we ought to be able to say, so we do have a routine that we're able to stick with, and this is the progress that we've made.
Right.
Everything that I've read, you don't want to get on a scale every day because it's disheartening.
Yeah.
So you want to work out and make that the focus of getting the workout in every day.
Right.
And even if you can only do 15 minutes the first week, if then the next week you can up it to 20, 25 minutes and build, that should be your step goals, however you want to say it, your marks.
Sure.
It shouldn't be the scale.
Right.
And then at 30-day or 3-month intervals, that's when you should look at the scale and say, because again,
you've made a big
as
difference.
You're building muscle,
you're going to gain weight before you lose weight.
So there might be a period of time in there where your clothes fit differently. You've lost weight. You can tell. I can look in the mirror and go, oh, I don't have as much of a belly, but I haven't lost that much weight because I'm building muscle in my arms, my legs, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so if you just go by the scale, then you can get disenfranchised from it, and then you want to quit.
Sure.
And so...
Well, and I think also part of this is if you're local, if you see us, if you're coming to our shows for Name That Tune and stuff that way with Star Entertainment, call us on it. Ask us how we're doing on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we want that accountability from everybody.
Yes.
Because it's helpful.
Yes. I'm terrible at when you don't feel good. I'll say, all right, let's go work out. And you're like, yeah, there's just no way I can do it today. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just don't do it. There's no reason that I shouldn't do it.
Right.
But I'm such a social person in that way that I have no motivation to do it on my own.
Well, and I'm just going to have to get to the point where even if I'm having a flare up, I'm going to have to do a different kind of an exercise.
If you're really hurting, you can't. It's not good for you to do it too. So there's you have to
sometimes some of it you just got to push through.
Right, but you have to know your limits.
And then our other issue is food.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
I know it is.
I feel like we could talk about that next, if you want.
We sure can.
The Midwestern diet.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just America in general.
Well,
how cheap is it to eat crappy food?
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
If you want to eat healthy food, you got to have 6 jobs.
You're not listening, but that's okay.
I heard it's a whole nother podcast. I
think it is, and I feel like we're probably at a good stopping point, is the thing. I just don't want you to start on a rant.
No. That was the end of my rant. That,
It is.
You want to eat good, you got to be a millionaire.
Yeah, kind of. Absolutely.
I mean, everybody talks about the Tom Brady diet. Well, if I made Tom Brady's money, I could eat Tom Brady's diet.
I don't think I've heard of Tom Brady's diet.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Again, we are Morrison Madness. Hopefully you enjoy the podcast, and if you have questions about it or ideas, feel free to comment.
Yeah, definitely make sure you're commenting, liking, share our stuff. Share it with other people that you think might enjoy it, get something out of it, stuff like that. We're always looking to make new friends out there, so hopefully you're having a good time. You're still tuning in, so that's a good sign.
That's right.
All right, we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye.